comment from Tim.
Jay's the problem. What? How am I the problem?
He needs to stop picking teams. I wish he would have never chosen my Indianapolis Colts.
Well, here's the problem, Tim, is that I'm not abandoning the Colts. I'm sticking fat with you guys for the time being. I reserve the right to choose a new team whenever I wish.
Connor, can I ask you something?
Please.
The more I'm thinking about this curse of Jay thing, I think, might very well be real.
We have years of track record.
For years, we've always joked about, we always looked at it from Jay's point of view. But think about it from Damar Hamlin's point of view. He literally came back from the dead. He was like minus 400 or something at one point to be comeback player of the year. And once Jay got on that bandwagon, the curse of Jay was so strong that a guy that literally came back from the dead
to play
football wasn't able to win the award. He picks up Jayden Daniels, he starts him, boom.
Hurt again.
Gets hit again, he gets hit again, he plays barely a half as a brutal today as well.
Don't push me, Matthew. Otherwise I'll become a Commanders fan next year.
Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football Happy Hour. It's Waiver Wire Day. Matthew, back in studio. How does it feel?
It feels
cozy.
It feels good. It feels cozy. It feels warm.
Watch out for the curse of Jay.
You will absolutely not become a Commanders fan.
It's true. I actually hate the Commanders. I couldn't do that.
We don't want you?
We
don't
think
need you.
about.
We're already cursed enough. We don't need you.
I'm a Colts man.
This is
what else could go wrong? What a great year I chose to follow the Colts.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
44-year-old quarterback coming back.
Team was 7-1. What happened?
It just goes to, but the Colts are the perfect team for you, honestly. And I'll tell you why. The Phillip Rivers thing makes so much sense because you see Jay ignores his kids to gamble on sports. Phillip Rivers is so sick of his kids. He's like, yes, I'll come out of retirement.
I'll go to Seattle. I don't care. I'll play at Seattle.
Exactly.
Get hit 45 times.
I'm 44 years old, but like I've got 9 kids at home or whatever it is. Yeah,
If I'm Phil Rivers and I'm watching the game last night, I'm like, this guy won Super Bowl MVP? How easy is this game still? Yeah, I can come back and do that. No, it's been a ridiculous season for the Colts. You know, I don't think people realize what happened to Anthony Richardson, which is kind of like the most ridiculous, insane thing of all of this. He snapped a resistance band and the bar hit him in the eye and almost blinded him.
So he was like doing like this. I
understand you haven't exercised in a while, but that's
is that how you do it?
Yeah, you got it. And snap back.
It snapped back into his eye. He's still
for me it'd be like this. Like that. I don't know if I could get all the way.
Well, we'll get you one with less resistance. That's the point.
Perfect.
They come in different.
Like a rubber band. Like I can do a rubber band.
Basically, a very thin, long rubber band is what we'll get you.
Yeah. Okay.
Watch out for the snap into the eye, though.
Within minutes of that occurring, Javarius Ward is running, just kind of practicing, runs into his tight end, concusses himself, and goes on IR. It's the curse that afflicts this team. I don't know what they did to get the 2006 Super Bowl, but they are paying for whatever they bargained with is coming back to haunt them now.
It's Jay Croucher declaring himself a Colts man at the beginning of the season.
The dark cloud is hanging over your head.
Until we win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, you're a little bit of a black hat. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, boy.
Not going to lie.
Well, we got waiver wires today. We also have a Monday Night Football recap. Don't worry, we're going to break down what was a wild game and some fantasy scores, not for the best ways. And we got our early bets for Week 15 during last call. It's our early line alert. But let's jump right into waiver wire quarterbacks here, guys. And we start with C.J. Stroud, not because of what C.J. Stroud has done in fantasy recently, but because of who he's playing and what the last 4 quarterbacks have done against this Cardinals defense, Matthew. Look at this.
Yeah, I mean, so you see Purdy, Lawrence, Baker Mayfield, and Matthew Stafford over the last 4 weeks. No team has allowed touchdown passes at a higher rate in the NFL than the Arizona Cardinals. 3 of the last 4 quarterbacks, as you see it there on your screen, to face the Cardinals have scored at least 17 fantasy points. The Bake Show did not. He was under that mark. Now, listen, those are all good quarterbacks there. Well, and Trevor Lawrence. But he's playing better.
Trevor Lawrence is playing better than Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, absolutely.
He absolutely is. But by the way, somebody else who's playing better recently is C.J. Stroud. In all fairness, he's playing better. Not great. But he is playing better. And so, it's a thin waiver wire this week. And no teams are on a bye. So you may not need someone. But if you do, C.J. Stroud is out there more than 50% of leagues, and we like this matchup against the Cardinals, who give the 4th most yards per pass attempt over the last month as well. Nico Collins is fully healthy. Dalton Schultz continues to catch and fall down forwards. Jayden Higgins is starting to come on. They can't run the ball, and so C.J. Stroud, I think, is a viable streamer this week if you need a quarterback.
Did you think he played well against Kansas City, Stroud?
well enough. I mean, the
Right,
way
that's the case. I mean,
he made some plays that are not in the box score on the move that were like, man, he's doing everything he can. Their line it's just not good enough.
It seemed, I felt like Stroud, he made some throws, the rollout to the right, to the third down. At the end, that was key. But he looked a little bit like end of last year CJ Stroud, where it felt like he was getting rattled by the blitz again, which I understand his O-line isn't giving him much help, but I felt that he almost regressed a little bit. Also, I think you have to look at what other quarterbacks have done against the Colts recently, and then what Stroud was, I thought, fine against the Colts, but he didn't have a passing touchdown. He wasn't explosive in the box score. Like, you kind of have to minimize that performance a little bit when you see just how barren the Colts pass rush is at the moment.
The only thing I'll say about that particular game specifically, I mean, I was there on the field. It was freezing. Yeah. Like the ball was like a brick. It's like throwing a brick. You know what I mean? And by the way, and you're also like, it's Arrowhead. The crowd was really into it up until like sort of, the late third, and then when they knew. So it just not a great, obviously the offensive line issues, but not a great place to play. It was frigid. And do I think C.J. Stroud was great on Sunday night? I do not. Do I think he played better than Patrick Mahomes? I do.
I actually go the other way. I think Mahomes played better. I think he just tipped passes. I get it.
No, I mean, listen, Tyquan Thornton comes down with that pass. I understand that, but I
Travis Kelce, throw him in the bucket with Jalen Hurts and Ryan Day for guys who had atrocious past few days. But yeah, I know what you mean. Mahomes didn't have his best game clearly, but Stroud, he should be able to deal with the Colt. Like, I get that it's bad. That Chiefs pass defense has been destroyed by everyone, and then Trent McDuffie went out as well during the game. So I think we're kind of back to where we were a little bit with the Texans' pass game. Doesn't make me feel great.
No, I know, but I just love. You understand the premise of the show, the way Wire. So try to talk you into people. Hey, here's a guy that's available. If you're desperate, and here's Jay.
He stinks.
Hey, right, exactly. Well, the best guy that we think's available is C.J. Stroud. Here's Jay. I think he still sucks.
How about this then?
Connor, what do you think? Because I think he sucks. You think he sucks, right?
Unplayable.
Yeah.
Malik Hakeem asked Purdy or Stroud this week. Of course, Brock Purdy's up against Tennessee.
It's Brock Purdy against the Titans, of course. Yeah, that's the answer.
13.5-point favorites.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm not abandoning Brock Purdy.
Malik. Anyway, whatever. That's fine. That's fine, Jay. Then if you don't want C.J. Stroud, of the players that were like,
I'd rather have the quarterback he's going up against this week.
We got deeper league targets for you later, Jay. Don't worry. The likes of J.J. McCarthy and Tyler Shough.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Tyler Shough.
See, that's why I'm teeing you up for it.
Yeah, we can get into him. I'd rather have Stroud than these other guys, though.
That's the point.
J.J.
That's
McCarthy,
the point. In terms of looking for quarterbacks that are available in over 50% of leagues that have a decent matchup this week, C.J. Stroud tops the list. I stand by that.
Okay.
Well, our next quarterback, he feasted off of that Titans matchup that Brock Purdy has this week. That's Shedeur Sanders, available in 92% of leagues. Oh, it's time.
Yeah, it's time.
Yeah.
I guess it's the left hand, right? It's the left hand who wears the watch on the left hand. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, no. Doesn't really resonate like Dame time.
Yeah, right.
Quite the same.
Yeah, if anything, players kind of use it against him. Either way, though, Week 14 fantasy leaders, Shedeur Sanders only behind Josh Allen. Yes, that's the kind of day Shedeur had. And with 364 passing yards, he threw for 3 touchdowns. He ran for 1. He was phenomenal in this game. And we got to hear from Shedeur on just the Browns fans being excited for their young 5th-round quarterback.
I always seen the assignment since draft day. I seen the assignment, so ain't nothing changed. Nothing changed with it at all. But enjoy, like deep down within myself, that's where I felt the most excitement, because it's like, sometimes you don't know if you're gonna get in that place. You don't know if you're gonna get in the end zone. It's a lot, that come with this game. It's a lot to even get on the field. So it's like the fact to be able to start making that a habit, that's new to me. That's something different for me. So, I'm just thankful for that.
Shedeur Sanders, after his best NFL performance yet, and we're not expecting that every week, as you see Shedeur Sanders average 3.57 seconds to throw in Week 14. That's an eternity. The second longest by a quarterback in a game this season.
That's Jalen Hurts kind of numbers.
I was going to say, like, for context there, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but I think that the quarterback who has the longest time to throw across the season is usually like 3.15 seconds, that type of range. So Shedeur's
Fields
like
is even longer, usually.
Fields, again, more like a Steve
But it's not
Traxler
3.6.
Yeah.
That's how long this is. The Titans pressured Sanders on 63% 33% of his dropbacks, the higher pressure rate of any defense in the game this season. Obviously, it's because he's holding the ball, but the numbers are the numbers for Shedeur right now, Matthew. I don't think anyone is expecting this to continue, but is he a guy off the waiver wire that you could stream at Chicago?
Yes. I mean, it depends on your risk tolerance, right? I mean, so it's a positive because the Bears have allowed the third most touchdown passes this season. Now, they've gotten Jalen Johnson back. The secondary's got a little bit healthier still. But, I mean, we just saw Jordan Love light them up. Shedeur Sanders is not Jordan Love, at least at this point of his career. But still, you know, I mean, look, guy just came off a game where, forget it, I get it, Tennessee, fine, whatever. But a lot of teams are playing Tennessee. And Shedeur Sanders is only the third quarterback this season to have a game in where he had at least 350 passing yards and 4 total touchdowns. Like, you know, like there were 13 other quarterbacks that played the Titans before then. So I just, you know, again, yes, he had a long time to, you know, throw, but like give the kid credit. Like he performed at a high level in a loss, but for us fantasy guys, we don't care. Like he put up points. So listen, playing at Chicago, especially in December, is dicey no matter what the Bears' record is. And this is a team coming off a loss to the Packers where they're going to be angry and they need this win.
Yeah.
So it is not without risk, Shedeur Sanders. This is high risk, high reward territory, but could you see some junk time? He's getting you some points with the legs. Again, we don't have a lot of guys out there, but I do think there's enough there with Sanders that we've seen in a small sample size. Feels like he's getting better every week, that given the matchup and the lack of other options, he could potentially be interesting.
How much do you read into his game against the Titans? What did you see from him?
Here's the thing with Shedeur. He's not as good as his biggest fans always paint him to be, and he's so much better than a fifth-round quarterback prospect. Right. He was a top 40 player for me, right? I like Shedeur Sanders as a pocket passer. I thought he was accurate. He's got a better arm than he gets credit for. He actually looks better as an athlete than I expected. I didn't think he was a great runner in college. He's running a little bit. I think his flaws are, and they're fixable, but also scary. He holds the ball forever.
Yep.
He drifts a lot. That leads to really bad sacks taken, and can you coach that out of him over time? So he's somewhere in the middle of what this frenzy is. Yeah. And that right now is a playable quarterback in fantasy, not an ideal starter. Like you'd have to be in a really, really bad pinch. But the Shedeur discourse is just so misguided on both sides.
He's not as good as his biggest fans, but he's also not as bad as his biggest haters. You know what I mean? Like
not
that's
even close.
Right, exactly. That's the thing. It's just like if he was any other exact same skill set, exact same, you know, tape that we saw, but he just had a different last name. You know what I mean? And just didn't, you know, then I think the discourse around him is completely different. I think people are cheering him the way they're cheering for Tyler Shough. And I think he's probably better than Tyler Shough as a prospect, right? You know, and so anyway, that's...
And both are playing pretty okay right now.
Are.
That's the funny thing in all of this, despite all of the noise around Shedeur. And, you know, not, in my opinion, not enough noise around Shough, who's doing some good things as well. Speaking of which, let's look at the deeper league waiver targets, because he makes that cut, as does Marcus Mariota against the Giants. We already talked about Shedeur, but J.J. McCarthy coming off a 3-touchdown week. He's got Dallas. Bryce Young against the Saints. Saints defense playing quite well right now, by the way.
Yep.
That's a huge game for the Panthers, though. And then Tyler Shough, of course, on the other end of that game against those Panthers.
Shough with at least 17 fantasy points in 3 of his past 4 games. Talk about using your legs. He's been doing that. McCarthy gets the Cowboys, as you mentioned. 10 of the 13 quarterbacks to face Dallas this year have scored at least 18 fantasy points. Bryce Young, very quietly, has been a top 5 quarterback in 2 of the past 3 games. I agree with you. The Saints are playing better. And then of course, at the top of that, you've got Marcus Mariota. We don't expect Jayden Daniels to play in the playoffs, Jay.
For sure.
So,
for sure.
God, good Lord, we're not. You know, who knows what my team is doing. But at the moment, the expectation, at least as of today, is I think Marcus Mariota starts against the Giants. If he does, it's certainly a favorable matchup, as New York allows the second most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks, and Mariota has been pretty good this year when he's gotten starts.
All right, guys, let's go to...
Mariota.
Mariota. Yeah, it's not good. But that needs to go in the bin. We need to figure that out.
As we look at the breaking news, this is, of course, the latest from Ian Rappaport on Phillip Rivers, that the Colts plan to bring Phillip Rivers into the facility on Tuesday to work out, see if he may join their practice squad. This is real. Daniel Jones' season is over. Riley Leonard will start, but Rivers may be an option.
So this came out yesterday.
Yeah, this isn't a breaking update. This is more of where things stand.
Since come out, I think Jeremy Fowler said that he worked out last night for the Colts. Now everyone's weighing up their options. Stephen Holder said, who does a great job covering the Colts, he said not his sources, but just his lean is that the Colts want to do this, and it's more about Phil Rivers deciding whether, as a grandfather and a 44-year-old, whether he wants to, get hit by the Texans pass rush in Week 18, et cetera, et cetera. Look, the season has descended into farce for my Colts. 2 weeks ago, we were
Jeff
the favorite.
Saturday coaching.
We were the favorites to win the AFC 2 weeks ago. Now we're working out Phil Rivers. Riley Leonard has a grade 1 PCL sprain.
Yeah.
And it's week to week. The other quarterback on the roster is Brett Rippon. There's no one else. The next option is Tyler Warren.
There's no one left in football.
I literally was like, are we about to get a Tyler Warren, Taysom Hill, kind of game here as well? Brett Rippon at least is like somebody that's played professional football.
Well, he's more qualified than like the three of us to play quarterback for the Colts. It's about
but he's got
more than a 44-year-old. I mean, let's be real.
Right. He's not Kendall Hinton. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a night.
Right. Right. He's not like
poor Kendall Hinton too, put in an awful spot.
Yeah. Oh, it was an awful spot for Kendall Hinton. But my point is like he's not. Brett Rippon is not. I'm trying to think of it. Who's the guy for the Jets that
Brady
played
Cook.
at UConn? No.
Streveler?
Oh, Tim Boyle.
Tim Boyle.
Who never won a college game.
Never won a college.
Also
bad in
played
college.
in the NFL for like 8 years.
No,
I don't understand how Tim Boyle ever got to the NFL.
Yeah,
and stayed.
Through more.
I think he still is in the NFL.
Threw more interceptions than touchdowns in college at UConn when UConn wasn't even any good.
Right. No, they were terrible.
Yeah.
But do you think Brett Rippon's a better quarterback today than Riley Leonard?
Well, here's the problem.
He might be healthier.
That's the problem. Riley Leonard's game is athleticism.
Yeah.
If he has one leg, you zapped the most important part of his game. So, yes, Brett Rippon's better than one-legged Riley Leonard.
It felt like Shane Steichen, it's funny how it ended up, well, not funny, but Shane Steichen, it felt like he was taking elements out of Riley Leonard's playbook on Sunday because he didn't want him to get hurt because the next quarterback up was Tyler Warren because they only dressed 2 quarterbacks. And now he's gotten hurt anyway.
Right, it doesn't matter. You can't hide anyone in the NFL.
The other issue, too, I feel like this game in Seattle as well. I feel like it's just punt the game. Like, punt the game. You can still get into the playoffs if you win the last 3. Punt the game and then figure it out after that.
What does punt the game look like in the NFL? Kneel every time?
I don't know.
No,
I feel like you just got to run wildcat.
Yeah, that's punting the game.
Direct snap to Jonathan Taylor every effing play.
Yes. This from C. Dupree, of course. Is Michael Pittman droppable for an RB handcuff or streaming defense? I can't see myself playing him in the playoffs with the Colts' current quarterback situation.
I think it's a fair question. I suppose it depends on which running back, insurance back we're talking about or which streaming defense we're talking about. I mean, Pittman got like almost a 40% target share from Riley Leonard.
Right.
So I don't think I would do it. I mean, I think I would probably look for other people to start. But it also depends on how deep is your league, who are your other wide receivers, and look at your plan. I wouldn't here. Because the worst thing in the world, maybe not the worst thing in the world, but one of the worst things in fantasy football is dropping a guy and then having somebody pick up that guy and use that guy against you that week to beat you with that guy.
Cruel. In the playoffs?
In the playoffs is even worse. I mean, I'm not in the playoffs. Well, are we talking about that at some point? I guess we can talk about it now. Whatever. Sorry. Okay, we've answered that question. We'll move on for a second. So I lost. I won my game. I beat Denny, and I 7-game win streak. To end the start of the season 0-7, finished tied 7-7. You and I were both 7-7.
Yeah.
You beat me on the tiebreaker with total points. You and producer Steven.
Yep.
We had 3 7-7 teams, and I just lost out on the points. So I finished 7th, I believe, this year. 6 teams make the playoffs.
I believe 8th.
Am I 8th? Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Not last.
Just lies around the edges.
You also didn't say how many points I had compared to him, which I won't reveal.
Lies.
I won't
Matthew
reveal.
Berry story.
I didn't know whether I was 7th or 8th. I checked it last night. I didn't check it when it reset this morning.
I'm stunned that you guessed wrong up.
Doesn't matter. Because it doesn't matter. The fact is Connor Rogers and I had the same record. Producer Steven and I had the same record.
Right.
I started out 0-7.
Yeah.
I was 0-7.
Maybe you shouldn't have
and I
done that.
clawed my way back to lose out on the playoffs by a tiebreaker. I gave I gave backup producer Pete a 7-game head start. Finished better than him. I gave George Savarikas a 7-game head start. Finished better than him.
It's a bad look for all of them.
I gave Denny Carter a 7-game head start. Yep. Finished better than him. I gave producer Adam a 7-game head start. Finished better than him. So you know what? Like, yes, you beat me on the points. So did producer Steven. But are you kidding me? This is the greatest season I've ever played. You got the league should be embarrassed.
8th in a 12-team league.
I started 0-7. I lost 3 of my top 5 draft picks.
Bottom 33% of the league.
No, for the love of God. I did to reel off 7 in a row after starting off my season. Screw you guys. This is a victory.
Oh, I like this comment.
Yeah.
This is a good one from Brian. So Connor just Todd Zealed Barry.
Yeah,
no,
exactly right.
No, I don't think you did, and I'll tell you why.
The amount of carry on here. I got to buy. Oh, you don't hear me talking.
No.
Job's not done.
No, of course
I'm still
not.
in the playoffs.
No, exactly.
We're going to do it in Daniel Jones'
Had I made the playoffs and then Jay used Jayden Daniels against me, that would have been bad.
Well, you making the playoffs would have been really bad for all of us.
Yeah.
That would have been problematic.
It's fine.
It was getting scary.
It was.
There's some pathetic efforts by
universe.
people that work on this show against you.
1,000%. Yeah, no, that's 100%. And you know who screwed me, really? Because I needed him to take care of business, and he did not. A Stupid Dev. Stupid Dev, once again, Emmy Award-winning Stupid Dev, I should point out. But Emmy Award-winning Stupid Dev, if he had just taken care of business, because he was dominant in the first part of the year, and then second part of the year he just fell apart and get a lot of teams to get back into it and jump me.
A fraudulent 8-5 from
He's
Stupid Dev.
He's a fraudulent 8-5.
I had more points than him. I'm not bitter about it.
No.
Not bitter about it at all. No. Stupid Dev in the playoffs with less points. Anyway,
have I avoided? Now, you're like, Barry, can you shut up? Can you get to waivers? Here's the thing. The top running back is Devin Singletary. I like it. You know, it's not like we got anything great to get to.
Oh, yeah. This is the shiny car on the lot. Devin Singletary, he's 76% available for all of you out there. But he does play against the Commanders off of a bye week, Matthew.
That's fair.
He does. It's a good matchup. You see the snap rate with him and Tyrone Tracy. It's almost even, and he's getting more work.
Yeah, and Tyrone Tracy banged up in the last game. We don't know his availability for this game against Washington. And if Singletary gets the majority of work, if Tracy is out, well, you know what? Washington has given up at least 30 points to opposing backfields in 3 of their past 4 games. And Motor Singletary very quietly has finished as a top 15 running back 2 of the past 3 games. Double-digit touches in every game since Cam Scadaboo went down with injury. We, as a collective, prefer Tyrone Tracy. But we do not coach the Giants.
I don't have a strong opinion. You can Connor can claim that one.
Screw you. We both like Tyrone Tracy.
Also, a hip injury, that could be serious here.
Yes, with Tyrone. Especially
workhorse back Devin Singletary against the Commanders.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. And then they play Minnesota, and then they rise to Las Vegas and finish up with Dallas. So, yes, Motor Singletary, viable flex this week.
Sticks Nation, pick one. Emeka Egbuka, Rico Dowdle, or Motor Singletary. Boy, that's not fun.
It's not Emeka Egbuka.
No, it can't be at this point.
Rolling him out. He catches less than half of his passes and has had 1 good game in like 2.5 months.
But with Mike Evans back, watch this be the week.
Mike Evans being back doesn't help Emeka Egbuka catch lollipop passes in the end zone with the season on the line. Something's broken with him.
Yeah.
The troubler is getting more. I think it's Devin Singletary.
I think it is Devin Singletary as well. I was just about to say, I mean, listen, Dowdle's got a great matchup against the Saints, who give up a ton of rushing yards and rushing touchdowns to running backs, and even 50% of Carolina, they're hiding Bryce Young in this offense. So even if he gets 40% of the Panthers' running back total, but I think, assuming Tyrone Tracy's out, I think the answer is Singletary.
Tough times.
I think the NFC South should give its playoff spot to Notre Dame. Because the NFC South has an automatic playoff bid. Yeah. The division winner gets into the playoffs. They're out. I want to see Jeremiah Love.
Yeah, I think that's a good take from you.
Yeah. Someone get Pete Bavacqua on the phone, see if he'd take the NFC South's playoff bid. He would. I don't want to get dumb, but I like Pete Bavacqua. Pete Bavacqua. No, he used to.
Noted.
No, he used to be the boss here at NBC Sports before he went to become athletic director of Notre Dame, and so.
I think he was very vindicated in his frustrations.
We like Notre Dame here at Channel 4.
I'm just saying I like Pete Bavacqua. I'm just saying, like, I like
him too.
I support him. So,
I actually, most people were not happy, and I know we're so far off the rails here. I liked their, I'll take my ball and go home.
Yes.
I'm not doing a bowl game. I actually loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, I love it too.
Screw it. Nope, not doing it. I thought it was awesome.
100%.
I fully support that.
Yep.
I totally agree as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's
what
right
I'm
in line with your antics. I'm not, you absolutely.
Hold on.
There's no one surprised you like that move.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing you wanted Alabama in the playoffs, obviously.
I did. I wanted Alabama. I wanted A&M. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Miami.
By the way, my middle kid went to Tulane.
Does he have a name?
Yeah, Matt.
Middle kid.
Matt. My middle kid, Matt. My sons are David, Matt, and Connor, and so Matt
Middle
went
kid.
to Tulane.
Yes.
My middle kid.
Yep.
The MK.
My middle son.
Good university.
I mean, kid 2 out of 5, but
I like that.
my middle son.
Kid 2/5.
My middle son. My middle son.
Our other running back is Blake Corum. He's 67% available.
Yeah, I know you're just like Barry. Why are you like off the rails? I'm like, because Blake Corum's our second pick here.
Yep.
But
and he is not even technically the starter for this team, but
he's not.
But workload has been trending up all year.
He is Tyler Allgeier-ish, if we talked about. Since week 7, he's averaging double-digit touches a game, and he's looked good. 11 yards per carry over the past 2 games. 7 of his 19 rushes have gained 10 or more yards. Like, that's just a stat tell you what you see when you see the highlights.
Right.
He keeps breaking off these long runs, Connor.
He looks good, Blake Corum. You could see why they kind of drafted him to be, speaking of kid 2, he's Kyren Williams 2.
Yeah.
Like, they almost look the same. You have to zoom in on the number. They run the same.
Yeah.
And they want to keep Kyren fresh because it's all about winning the Super Bowl for the Rams. They're gone are the days of Kyren Williams getting 24 touches. I know that's probably much of the chagrin of Kyren Williams fantasy rosterers.
Yeah.
But Blake Corum's here. Like, this is a serious role.
And they trust him in close. He's had multiple red zone rush attempts and at least one goal line rush attempt in 5 of the past 7 games. As well, Detroit's run defense is seeming to, sprung some leaks recently. Their bottom half run defense over the last 4 weeks as well. So, yeah, Blake Corum, available in 67% of leagues. I do think he is a viable flex in a 12-team or deeper league.
And if you're going into the playoffs, Jay, with Kyren, you have to have Blake Corum on your roster.
Must have.
If he's out
so.
there, he's your number 1 claim.
Yeah, we'll see about the next 2 weeks. I think overall aren't great against Detroit, who, as their run defense might not be going up against the Cleveland Browns run defense, but it's a better unit than their pass defense. And then Seattle is brutal. At Seattle Thursday Night Football, Blake Corum, not expecting him to do a ton there. But then at Atlanta, which is a magnificent matchup, I do think the past 2 weeks with Blake Corum, all right, one, he played the Cardinals and they won by 50 points. Like, that happens for a backup running back. And then Kyren got hurt a little bit against the Panthers too. But, I think that he has done enough. And with Kyren just seems constantly banged up as well. He's always dealing with something. And so you could see something closer to a 60-40 split.
Our deeper league targets, Bam Knight, he's just always on this list. I actually don't know why anymore, but Bam Knight is on this list. He's got the Texans, so that might feel even better about it.
Yeah, you don't love the matchup here, but he does very quietly have at least 13 fantasy points in 3 of the past 4 games. How about Chris Rodriguez? He is 10 for 45 in the bank.
You need the
touchdown, but they use him when they get in close. He's had 5 straight games with at least 1 goal-to-go rush attempt. Whether it's Mariota, or Jayden Daniels under center, they do like C-Rod in close. Tyler Allgeier, the original Blake Corum, 3 straight games with double-digit touches, and on the season, he's got 50% of the Falcons' red zone rush attempts. And then finally, it was not Ollie Gordon, but in fact, Jalen Wright, who took the majority of the work for Devaughn Achane when he left the game against the Dolphins here. Now, Mike McDaniel was like, he actually could have come back in. Would have been helpful. Some of us needed Devaughn Achane. Some of us with Pickens and Rashee Rice needed Devaughn Achane to step up because those guys did not. But Jalen Wright sounds like, he would be the guy if Achane were to miss. Just again, I think it looks like Achane will play this week as we sit here today. But if you have Achane, and you've been holding Ollie Gordon all season long, as many of us have, seems like you want Jalen Wright instead. He outtouched Gordon 24-5 in this game.
By the way, Guillotine in our show league, I'm into the final against Roto Pat. I'm trying to dethrone Roto Pat. He's gone for his Michael Jordan 3-peat. I'm John Stockton and Carl Malone trying to take this one down. Hopefully it ends differently than it did in 1998. But here's why Guillotine is funny.
Yeah.
Because here's my team as we go into the final week. And I've still got waiver claims to make.
Yeah.
My wide receivers.
This is what's great about Guillotine, right?
My wide receivers are Puka Nacua and JSN.
Yep.
My running backs, James Cook, Devin Achan, Jameer Gibbs, and Derrick Henry. I might bench Derrick Henry. I'm going to try to pick up Bijan Robinson on waivers. And then my quarterback options are Patrick Mahomes and Matthew Stafford. I'm going to try to get Josh Allen. So
Yeah.
just like,
And you probably will.
Yeah, it's the Monstars going up against other Monstars.
Yes.
It's quite enjoyable.
But that is what the brilliance of Guillotine leagues. By the way, you could still join one right now. You just do like a 4-person league or whatever. You can actually even do an 8-person league and do a double chop. Two teams get chopped
double
each
chop.
week. Yeah, we have double chop.
That's good. I like the
that's
double
one of our
chop.
options. One of our options on Guillotine leagues is 2 teams get cut each week.
do a
The
triple
two
chop?
worst teams.
Advancement.
Quadruple chop?
But not yet. But just as the teams get
That's just
chopped
normal
along the
fantasy.
way, as long as the teams get chopped along the way, you get super teams.
Yeah. Right.
I'm in like
Playing matchups at that.
I've got the Kevin Durant Warriors right now.
Yeah,
it's great.
No, you sit. Literally, because I'm down to one league where it's I'm in like 4 or 5 finals and it's like 3 teams. And last night I picked up Saquon Barkley off waivers.
Yeah, right.
Just because it's 3 super teams.
He hasn't been great.
The waiver strategy is fun too because you get the budget. And last week it was me, Pete, and RotoPat. I had like $307, and they had like $8 and then $100. And so doing that, because I can just all right, well, I can just have whoever I want. I can
That's
get
the
the 2 guys.
strategy.
I can have whatever I want because they can't outbid me.
That's right.
So it's like, all right, well, I'll take Puka Nacua and Jameer Gibbs or whatever I got.
The blind bidding, I think, is the most fun aspect of Guillotine.
Yeah.
It's the best strategy aspect in fantasy.
And money management, and it gives you a fair shot because you're like, oh, I don't have the number 1 waiver claim.
Yeah.
So I mean, right. So here's the difference between normal fantasy football, regular season-long fantasy football, and Guillotine. So tonight on waivers for Guillotine League, you're trying to decide if you want to pick up Josh Allen, whereas we're all here saying maybe Devin Singletary or Bam Knight's available. We're trying to talk into.
Bricks. That's good. Jay's team is going to collapse like the 2021 Nets right now. The Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant super team. Very possible. But Puka Nacua and JSN should be pretty safe.
It should be.
Didn't have 2021 Nets appearing on the show this week. I like it.
But kudos to Aloha Bricks for making a reference that Jay would get.
Yes,
right in line with Jay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you'd said 85 Bears, I wouldn't have.
No. But 5-year-old NBA reference, that is in your wheelhouse.
07 Pats probably a better collapse.
Of a now
They
irrelevant
collapsed.
organization than the Brooklyn Nets.
Brooklyn Nets.
I think were they the Brooklyn Nets then, or were they the New Jersey?
No, they were
Nets?
still Brooklyn.
They moved
Yeah,
to
they were
Brooklyn in 2012.
Yeah.
I don't read the newspaper.
No. People can say a lot of things about you, but they can't accuse you of reading the news. Waiver Wire wide receivers. Welcome back, Jayden Reed, 59% available. Very involved in this offense right away with manufactured touches. 4 catches, 2 carries. Jordan Love, a happy man to see Jayden Reed back in the lineup.
It was big time. He made some big time plays. I think there's still more out there that we could have got him involved in. But, he's just a playmaker. He had that very clutch catch on that last drive. And, he's another threat that, the defense has to be aware of. And we did some cool things, being able to get him on some rounds and some sweeps. But he's just a playmaker. He makes plays when the ball's coming his way.
You know what's? We'll talk about Jayden Reed here in a second, but can I just rail it for a second?
Yeah, sure, yeah. I like asking permission. That's nice progress from you in year 4.
For people that are listening at home, before we played the sound of Jordan Love talking about Jayden Reed, we showed a graphic of all the Packers wide receivers of what they did last week. And Jayden Reed obviously had a very nice game, as did Christian Watson. But I noticed that Matthew Golden, 1 target, 0 receptions for 0 yards. And it just struck me as just like, the Packers, who for years and years and years and years and years get nothing but grief about you never draft a quarterback, you never draft, wide receiver, you never draft a first-round wide receiver, you never draft a first-round wide receiver. You had Aaron Rodgers in his prime, you never do that, so they finally say, all right, fine, everyone shut up. We're going to draft a first-round wide receiver. Is Matthew Golden the most disappointing first-round wide receiver?
Didn't take the right one.
I mean,
they didn't take the right one. That's what it comes down to. I didn't think you.
Ever or this year?
Certainly this
Your
year.
team took Jahan Dotson. Who was out there last night? Wasn't the Hurts throw to Jahan Dotson?
Given what we've seen Matthew Golden do so far, I'm not convinced Jahan Dotson was the worst pick.
To be fair, they spent pick 34 on Christian Watson. who now looks like a legitimate
for sure.
first-round type of
Watson was a
receiver.
great pick.
Yeah.
No, listen, Romeo Doubs was like a round 4 pick. Like they've gotten good. They've gotten good value for their picks. Like they've gotten production out of these guys. I don't know what Jayden Reed was like a second or a third.
Second round pick. Yeah,
second,
I believe.
So they've gotten they've done well at the position. I mean, and they have a tradition of it. Like Devontae Adams, Jordy Nelson. Like I mean, they've Randall Cobb. Like there's a tradition of great Packer wide receivers. I'm just saying like. The first time they kind of plant their flag.
Yeah. No, it's incredibly ironic. It's incredibly ironic.
And I mean, I'm in a crazy deep league, and I dropped Matt. I'm like in an insanely deep league where we have to start. This is my friend Mike Clay, and who does a league called the Going Deep League. You have to start. You start 2 quarterbacks, 3 running backs, 6 wide receivers, and 2 tight ends. Like it's an insanely deep league, 12-team league. Bunch of experts, and I dropped Matthew Golden in that league.
Pretty telling.
Again, like you can actually start up to 7 wide receivers in that league.
Ryan Oswald said Barry is flinging those hands around like he hasn't spilled Diet Coke all over recently.
It's a good point. I'm being a little loosey-goosey, aren't I?
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Oh, boy.
It's been a while since we had an accident. By a while, I mean about 10 shows ago.
What if we just did that? What if I just,
Someone think about the electronics.
Yes. Yeah, it hasn't been a great rookie year for Matthew Golden, but with that, Jay, comes opportunity in the return of Jayden Reed. I thought his presence opened the field up more, where you could see the space it created for a guy like Christian Watson.
I think the key is 2 things. One, Jordan Love was looking for him. They threw the first ball of the game to Jayden Reed. And then secondly, he looked like Jayden Reed. Like he's been out for a long time, and they took their time to make sure that he was fully healthy when he got back. This is a team that has a very explosive passing game. It's going to be high variance. It's not going to be a ton of volume, but Reed has shown, even though he plays in the slot, that he can produce big plays. And so I think Reed, again, you can really count on him week to week. I don't think you can count on any Packers wide receiver outside of Christian Watson, but he becomes, I think, flex viable. I just think there are going to be a lot of games like this where it's, 4 for 31. Maybe it's more like 4 for 49 going forward.
You know the deal getting into it with Packers wide receivers, but they do play Denver this week, and so because he's the slot guy, he'll avoid Surtain. And you could see if there's one area to attack against the Broncos, it is the middle of the field. So Reed, who I've always thought was the most talented wide receiver of the Packers, like him and Watson are sort of right there. So it's just I was always like, why don't they use him more? You know what I mean? But it was a good sign to see him back. I probably would pick him up and then sort of depends on how deep it is, but maybe use him against Denver, but certainly at least to see. Can he continue the success?
Packers 2.5-point favorites in Denver, by the way. Market loves the Pack.
Yeah, they do.
I think
Mark also realizes Denver's a little fraudulent.
Yes. I think the Packers are the second best team in football after the Rams.
They might be.
They have an argument for it. I don't think it's crazy.
They're absolutely not crazy. Speaking of Chicago, who I briefly mentioned there, how about Luther Burden? Listen, with Roma Dunze out, Luther Burden had a 21% target share in Week 14. Not a crazy number, but still it was leading the Bears. It was a team high. Also had a 70% route participation in this game, which was a season high for Mr. Burden. And so, we like the talent. And so I know Olamide Zaccheaus caught the touchdown, but with DJ Moore not doing much, and we'll see if Odunze can make it back this week. But we do think Burden could be one of those rookies that you see over the second half of the season. Got 3 weeks left, but he's emerging at the right time.
Well, and what you like about Burden is you can get the big play. You can cash in on the big plays. Had a lot of catches of 20+ yards this year, 15+ yards this year. So you might need that if you have to start him. But if you're at this point of the year, you're probably not looking for floor plays. No. You're looking for somebody that can explode. And in the Bears pass game that's been shaky, Burden has that chance. He's going to be a guy that's very interesting for us this summer, Jay.
Yep.
Because if DJ Moore is not with this team anymore, and I don't think he will be, it's going to put Burden in a really big role.
Yep. Also, even though the Bears are 8-point favorites this week home to Cleveland, Cleveland in theory are a pass funnel defense because they've had the best rush defense statistically in the league. I think the Bears can probably just run on anyone.
Right, I agree.
Seems like that at this point, but despite being 8-point favorites, they may need to throw in this one.
Jayden Higgins also makes our cut at 58% available. He's just gotten targets week in and week out, Matthew, and probably an even better situation for him now with Stroud starting to get back in a little rhythm again.
Yeah, I mean, listen, nothing amazing, but quietly, 3 of the past 5 games, he's been a top 30 wide receiver. He's averaging over 6.5 targets a game, since week 10. And so going up against Arizona, you heard us talk about that matchup with the Cardinals when we were talking up C.J. Stroud. And obviously, Jayden Higgins seems like he's, the passing attack has really just become, after Nico Collins, it's Jayden Higgins and Dalton Schultz. Like, it's those three guys. They haven't been able to run that effectively. So Higgins, I do think, has some, deep league appeal.
All right, our deeper league targets, Ryan Flournoy against the Vikings. We've seen him have some big performances this year. CeeDee Lamb in concussion protocol, which is why Ryan Flournoy makes our list against the Vikings. Kayshon, Boutte, Adonai Mitchell still operating as the Jets' #1 wide receiver, although if Brady Cook starts that game, I don't think you're playing a single Jet.
No.
I don't like not a Breece Hall, unless you really have to. Mason Taylor, it's just tough with a UDFA quarterback. Devaughn, Vele, Jalen Coker, Chimere, Dike, and then Pat Bryant, Matthew, getting more work in that Broncos pass game.
Back-to-back games, he's actually run more routes than Troy Franklin. This is a guy they liked a lot. He's coming along, and so, Denver likes to spread it around a decent amount, and we obviously don't love the matchup with Green Bay this week. But similar to what you're saying with Burden, like Bryant has the kind of talent where he could pop down the stretch.
Yep, absolutely. And also Green Bay's defense, which I think is good, but statistically has never really matched its reputation. Like the Bears were able to move the ball in the Packers. If Caleb throws that ball a little bit better at the end, the Bears put up 28 in regulation on Green Bay.
That's
so
right.
you can move the ball on Green Bay.
Our tight end this week, guys, Harold Fannin Jr., 60% available. Looks good with Shedeur Sanders.
Really does.
I'll say that right now. Coming off a week of 11 targets, 8 catches, 114 yards. And 1 touchdown, Matthew. I actually think this one maybe not sustainable to the point of 25 fantasy points, but I would think a tight end 1 down the stretch with Shedeur.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting a ton of looks. You mentioned the targets since week 7. Here's the entire list of tight ends with a higher target share than Harold Fannin since week 7. Here's the entire list. Trey McBride. That's it. That's the list. He's, by the way, during that stretch since week 7, he's the 6th best tight end in fantasy football on a points per game basis. Njoku got banged up in this game as well. And so Shedeur, Kevin Stefanski, 2-time Coach of the Year. Kevin Stefanski, not everyone knows that he won that award twice, but he did. 2-time Coach of the Year, Kevin Stefanski, has said Shedeur Sanders is his starter for the rest of the season. They seem to have a real connection here. So Fannin at Chicago this week, 60% available. And the schedule, as it relates to tight ends, doesn't scare you. Bears, Bills, Steelers, and if you play in Week 18, Cincinnati.
Think he's the #1 target this week over Motor Singletary?
Yeah, I mean, just given the position.
I would take him
it depends on what you need. Like, if you need a tight end, like for the playoffs, yes. If I just need somebody this week, maybe Singletary, just because the matchup against Washington, and we expect him to get all the work. So it sort of just depends on what you're looking for. But yes, I think he's got the most.
Yep, I like those two overall.
He's the more
wide
talented.
receivers.
He's just on a pure talent basis. He's the
It's tight end. They just got 11 targets.
Yeah, exactly.
A couple quick ones here from the chat. Ruben said, "Club set is officially closed, brother."
It is. It's sad.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty sad.
E-Money said Dalton Kincaid or Juwan Johnson. That's that's tight. You might have to come back for start sit to get an answer on Friday.
You like the matchup against Carolina for Juwan Johnson, and you don't like the matchup on the road at New England. But I mean, I'd rather Josh Allen versus Tyler Shough. So that's a.
Kincaid's snap count, though, is kind of ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go Juwan Johnson.
I would like the tight end for me is mostly about the floor.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I would go with Juwan Johnson.
By the way, the nickname JJ is banned because I got a text message on the weekend from a friend saying, "Oh wow, what a play, JJ." Like, this could be anyone.
I would think McCarthy.
I would think Jefferson.
Jefferson. It was Josh Jacobs with the run against the Bears. It's like JJ. What? When has Josh Jacobs ever been JJ?
That's just on your friend.
No.
Nobody in the history of planet Earth has called Josh Jacobs JJ.
We got Juwan Johnson as well.
Yeah.
Am I going to get another message? Well, what a game, JJ. If Juwan Johnson goes 7 for 73.
Did Reddick come back?
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah,
it's not good.
Yeah, that's a bad one. But I will say that play by Josh Jacobs, it was a pretty good great play.
Yeah, JJ
might have earned him the nickname.
Yeah, might have.
All right, if you need a defense, a special team streamer, Jacksonville. We mentioned the Jets quarterback situation. Oh, these are the tight end deeper league targets
deeper league
too.
targets.
I don't want to jump over these. Theo Johnson, Colston Loveland. Isaiah likely should have had 2 touchdowns last week.
Yes, I think he did have 2 touchdowns last week.
He did. The NFL.
I don't understand. He caught it 2 feet down. I don't know.
They called it a touchdown on the field.
Yeah.
The judge right behind him.
Yeah.
And then the league reviewed it.
I don't get it.
That's how that went.
I don't know.
Darren Waller. Mason Taylor, as much as I kind of, laughed at the Jets quarterback situation, he was heavily involved last week. So maybe once again a floor PPR play.
Right.
Colby Parkinson's Mr. Touchdown at tight end.
Yeah.
And Mike Gesicki, because Higgins is in
If you're picking through the white tight ends of the Rams, Colby Parkinson is the one you want.
He's top of
You have to distinguish one of them?
Yeah. They've got like 7 of them there. And then Gesicki, 3 end zone targets in 2 games since Joe Burrow returned. Again, Gesicki's numbers when T. Higgins has been out have been pretty good. Higgins, of course, in the concussion protocol again.
Yeah, Gesicki might be a viable streaming option if that's the case. Speaking of defenses, Jacksonville, they got the Jets, the Niners, got the Titans. Cowboys against McCarthy. If McCarthy goes back to the form we saw before this week, he did have 3 touchdowns this week. The Bears against Shedeur Sanders and the Browns. And the Saints defense, I keep saying it, they've been playing better. Huge matchup for the Panthers. We're taking our first break. Yes, our first break, 44 minutes into show. Waivers are a beast. When we're back, though, we're talking Monday Night Football. Who to trust on the Chargers for the fantasy playoffs right after this. Jay, what do you got?
I'm going to take Justin Herbert over 18.5 rushing yards. He's gone over this number in 9 of 12 games. Now, I understand he's dealing with the broken hand. I think he's just going to get in there and play like Justin Herbert. Yeah, football players, football.
Looking at the Chargers run game as well, Jay. I know it's the return for Omarion Hampton, so people are like, maybe we'll be careful with them. I'm going over 11.5 rushing attempts.
I think we all see this game the same way, Connor, because if Omarion Hampton is running the ball and Justin Herbert is running the ball, you know what's not happening? Justin Herbert passing the ball. So give me Justin Herbert under 31.5 pass attempts.
Nice night for the lads.
It is. And, you know, it's crazy. All those lines, like, you gave it out at 11.5. It closed at 10.5. And 31.5 actually, under 31.5 pass attempts, closed at 32.5. Pass attempps, I believe.
So some people got even better value after.
Yeah, I should have taken over 65.5 on the rushing yards.
Oh man, he was wild. I mean, he's one of those guys like his brain is programmed where he's on the field. It doesn't matter if he has no legs.
He's in stiff arms with a broken hand.
No, it was insanity. Here's the notable fantasy performances. Nothing really overly inspiring though from this game. Saquon got going, had some big runs. A.J. Brown should have had a bigger night, honestly. Omarion Hampton's usage,
Jalen Hurts.
We'll get into that in just a little bit, but the bottom line is Jalen Hurts managers, you drink for free.
Look at that, 0.4 fantasy points. Jalen Hurts managers drink for free. one of the most insane plays I think I've ever seen in my entire life, and you can tell I've been watching football a long, long time.
Since when the Nets were in New Jersey.
Yeah,
That's right. In 2020.
Since Methuselah, as we discussed yesterday's show. Jalen Hurts throws an interception, -2. They run it back. It gets stripped. Jalen Hurts picks up the fumble.
Yeah.
Takes 2 steps and then gets stripped to the fumble. Literally gets -4 fantasy points on the same play. You see this tweet here from John Clark of NBC Sports in Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts had a career high 5 turnovers last night. That's the most by an Eagles player in 25 years, and he's the first player in the NFL in 47 years to have 2 turnovers on 1 play. Yes, -4 fantasy points. And I tweeted this out earlier, guys, that given the stakes, that Jalen Hurts was universally drafted as a top 4 fantasy quarterback, so he was started everywhere. Given that this was week 14 and the last game, this is basically win and get in for pretty much every fantasy league, and it's the last game of the week. And so you've got your star quarterback in a game in which so many fantasy managers needed to win to get in. I always do my Monday Night Miracle. I can't tell you how many people said, this is how many I need from Hurts. I need this from Hurts. And for him to have -4 points on 1 play, I would argue is the most damaging play in fantasy football this year and potentially history, given the time, the circumstances, everything like that. -4, and to have literally like 0.5 points. Like, you'd have been better. I mean, like.
What an absolute debacle of performance from the Eagles. The fact that at one point Justin Herbert's pressure rate was like 72%. He's getting pressured on set. He had no chance back there. The Eagles had no right to lose that game at all. Jalen Hurts just needed to have 4 turnovers instead of 5, and they win the game handily in the end. I don't know fantasy-wise what the real takeaways are on the Eagles side. I don't think there's really anything there, but
they're home to Las Vegas. They're 11.5-point favorites.
They're going to win the division fraudulently.
Yes, exactly.
And then my Packers, my adopted team. I'm still a Colts man. Packers are my second team.
Oh no!
Yeah.
You just cursed the Packers.
No,
there you go. It's over.
I don't fear.
Sorry,
I don't fear the Eagles. If the Packers play the
Famous
Eagles in the
last
playoffs, the Packers will destroy them. They'll destroy them because the game will be in Green Bay. It'll be in Green Bay.
Yeah.
They'll destroy them. In terms of Hampton or Vidal next week, Matthew.
I'm going to go with Hampton. I get it. Kimani Vidal, you see it there on your screen, plays almost 70% of the snaps, gets 1 more rush attempt, obviously has the big reception for receiving yard. But you know what? It's just weird. Hampton missed a couple of blocks, and so maybe like they were just easing him back in, and or maybe they saw that like, hey,
it was weird though.
The usage is weird, but like to the eye test, and again, he's my ride or die, but to the eye test, he looks like such a better running back than Kimani Vidal, who's done a nice job. And I know Harbaugh's loyal and everything like that, but I think this is only going to increase. They gave him the goal line touch, you know what I mean? Like, he got the touchdown. So I think Hampton's an RB2 next week at the Chiefs, whereas I think Vidal is a PPR deep league flex. And I don't know what to do with the pass catchers, man. Like, hopefully they rebound. Like, I just think just a bad day at the office all around.
They can't pass block.
They can't
so it just
pass
doesn't
block.
matter. It often doesn't matter.
You're probably still starting McConkey, and that's about it. Like, you certainly don't feel good about QJ, Keenan Allen, or even Gadsden, who had that stretch that was so awesome, but seems to have fallen off the cliff. Herbert's going to be a low-end QB1, high-end QB2 this week.
This Sunday night, Dak Prescott and the Cowboys welcome Justin Jefferson and the Vikings to Texas in an NFC showdown. Football Night in America will lead you up to kickoff at 7 p.m.
J.J. McCarthy
Eastern.
doesn't make the graphic.
Nope.
A different J.J. made it.
That's right. One of the many JJs of the NFL.
JJs.
We're taking our last break. When we're back, our favorite early week bets on sides and totals. Last call after this. DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the app and use promo code FFHH when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook.
The crown is yours.
Crowd is yours. It's time for last call early line alert for Week 15. Jay, what do you like on or off the board?
Screw you guys, I'm taking the Colts plus 13.5. This line would be like 5 if Daniel Jones was playing.
He can't quit.
8.5 points from Daniel Jones is a downgrade to whoever they play quarterback? No, sir. Colts plus 13.5. We cover.
You know what? I like your resilience here.
That's right.
Way to not jump to a new bet.
We lose by 12.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
We go again.
For the shoe. We only lost by 11. For the shoe.
Matthew, this one's right out of your playbook. Giants money line over the Commanders. I can't believe what I saw with the Commanders last week. There's nothing left for this team to play for. Jackson Dart is an absolute lunatic. He will try to win any game. He'll do whatever it takes. Giants beat the Commanders. Money line's minus 120, minus 130. It's not crazy at all.
Yeah, I'm taking over 44.5 in the Titans 49ers. 49ers off the bye, good offense. Titans showed signs of life. 44.5 is too low. Give me the over. It's closing time. You can't stay here. Go home. For Jay and Connor, I'm Matthew.
Please go home.
Yeah.